to have resentment towards your own son because of what he's doing. Zvakaoma baba kuti
It's not easy, my father, that
upindurwe nemwana wawakazvara,
the child that you bore, can say to
especially
you,
when you raised the child single-handedly. Mwana ari kunwa doro baba.
the child is drinking alcohol,
Mwana anoputa baba.
he's smoking.
Like yesterday, he came and told me he doesn't have a phone anymore. I took money, I gave him. Akaenda kunotenga, instead of him buying a phone, he went and fixed the other phone. The rest of the money, akaenda akanonwa doro.
He went and he spent it on alcohol.
At times, my father, ndamunhu ari so bitter towards this child.
I'm a person who's developed so much bitterness towards this
Exactly what he's doing is the same thing that his father was doing. That's why I divorced him. But can I divorce my own son, Baba? Anosvika pekuti
He gets to the point where
unomangara so kuna Mwari.
you report him to God.
Ndaisi murova.
I would used to beat him.
It's not easy for a mother to beat up a 26-year-old son. Baba mwana haasi kukura.
But he's not maturing.
I've got 2 boys and 3 girls. But if I tell you I've got an 11-year-old son, are so mature than a 26-year-old son. Zvinosvika zvinondibata.
It gets to a point where it really touches me.
Sometimes I cry myself to sleep. Saka baba ndiri kuda kunzwawo kuti
So my father, I would want to know,
ndingahandle sei such a son.
how
I
can
need
handle
wisdom,
such
my
a
father.
son?
Because unosvika pakuvenga mwana wako.
Because you get to a point of hating your own child.
Ndichiri ipapo baba vangu.
Whilst I'm still on that point, my father,
I've got a best friend, ane a son who is exactly like my son. Saka help me and also help her.
All right. Yes, sir. All right. These are very, very, very challenging cases, especially given the fact that the father is now nowhere to be found, and you're raising this son single-handedly. And there is wisdom that is required for a son to grow, for a son to develop, for a son to mature. And that wisdom has only one source: a father. There is wisdom that a son requires for his maturity, for his development. Wisdom that is required for the proper upbringing of a son. Wisdom that is required for a son. I'm not talking of a daughter in this case. I'm talking of a son. That wisdom has only one source. It has to emanate from a father figure. And if it's not a father who is asking for that kind of wisdom, and it's a mother, it's difficult for you to be granted that kind of wisdom that belongs to fathers. I'm not in a position to train you on how to become a good father. This is what makes your case very, very difficult. You can't be a father. You can't be a man. If you are going to sufficiently achieve that, you have lost your identity as a woman and as a mother. So you will be so happy that you have raised a son properly as a father, but then when you look back, you realize that you have also lost your identity as a mother in the life of the same son that you're trying to raise. The wisdom that is required for your son does not lie with you. Why is it that in the book of Malachi, God gave a promise that in the last days, He will turn the hearts of the fathers back to the sons, and sons back to their fathers. And in that case, you realize that you, in as much as you are very, very special, you are nowhere to be found in that text.
And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the
But
children.
this is going to happen before that very dreadful day of the Lord. You can start from there.
Verse 5. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of
You
the
must
Lord.
understand, this prophet that is coming is going to focus primarily on restoring. This is the way that this Elijah is going to prophesy. He's not going to be calling out people's names. He's going to specialize as a prophet in restoring.
And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children.
He shall turn their heart, the what?
Heart
The heart of
the fathers to the children.
to the children. It means something must have happened that has made fathers to turn away from their children. This is the crisis that we are currently having. We now have fathers that find it so easy to turn away. They can easily walk away from their children. No pain, no regret, no remorse, no concern. Fathers are turning away. Their hearts have been turned away from their children. And he goes on to mention sons.
And the heart of the children to their fathers.
And the heart of the children to their fathers. So it wasn't, it's not like the sons started this process. It was fathers. Something happened to fathers. And until today, something is happening to father figures in many homes.
AFV. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the sons, and the heart of the sons to their fathers.
To their fathers. That union is what is going to help not just the father but the sons. You are now in a very bad position. You feel so unworthy. You feel unqualified. You feel so helpless, as if you have failed to play your role, not as a mother, but as a father. A role that you should never play under normal circumstances. If you're going to blame yourself, you should not really blame yourself for what this son is doing. You also said maybe it's because you just wanted to reserve certain information to yourself concerning the exact reasons why you divorced. You said it was because of that. So I'm not saying now get into details, but you were not supposed to divorce your husband because of drinking. No, don't give us more information. I'm just giving an example here. It's also good that you protect him. Protect him. It's okay. But I'm saying, unless as a result of drinking he would seek to hurt you, harm you, abuse you, then you should rejoice over that separation and never regret.
That's exactly, Baba, what you're saying. That's what she's also sharing with me.
So, when the man walked away, he did not only walk away from you, he also walked away from his own blood. He walked away from his own son. Why is he not concerned as much as you are concerned? That's his son. That is his son. At that age, you can't still be beating up your son. It's not possible. It's not possible. You can't. It's not only bad for your son, it's also not good for you. Because already he's taking a lot of things into his system. He might decide to fight you back. We have had cases where sons have actually killed their own mothers. If you are going to beat him up until you are satisfied and he's allowing you to do so and to proceed, it's a sign of very serious loyalty on his part. Serious loyalty. At that age, especially looking at this generation, the fact that he can even allow you to do that, there is an element of loyalty in this your son. You can't. Don't do that. What your son is lacking is not you. There is a lack of a father. There is no father figure. And this is exactly what the devil is now specializing in doing, making sure that this generation is fatherless. Fatherless.
She says the father chased him away when he went to stay with the father.
Yeah, but I'm just talking in general here now. Fatherless. That's what the devil is doing. When there is no father, there is no home. When there is no father, something else is missing. That which a father represents, which is security, peace, protection. Life is guaranteed as long as the father is around. So when the devil comes and he messes up with fathers, the devil does it in so many ways. It's either you lose your husband, he dies, and you bury him and he's nowhere to be found, or something of that nature happens when he's taken away mentally, when a father figure is given to obsessive addictions, lust. You still have him at home, but it's still a fatherless home, because he is no longer in control of his faculties. He's no longer in charge of his reasoning. He is no longer a father figure in terms of being the head, the reasoning part of the home, the head, the thinking part of the family. The husband is that part that is responsible for thinking, processing. And when he's given to alcohol, when a man is given to alcohol and he loses himself, he is taken over. Such a father is no longer in a good state to raise a son. So that son is fatherless. Either the father is dead or he's still alive. As long as he's in that state, that son doesn't have a father. He's fatherless. That's how the devil makes most homes fatherless. Either he dies or he's there, but he's insignificant. There's nothing to learn. If such a father is to chase away a son, it's actually a blessing in disguise. There are things that certain fathers do that a son should never witness. And I told you this some time back, that certain sons, certain people, certain children here would have been better had they not have had a father to look up to. That place should have been vacuum. He should have looked up and not seen anything than seeing a displaced father, a disorganized father, an abusive father. So there are certain fathers that are better off not being there. and is good for sons. If the father then is there and is present, he has to be the right one. If he is not the right one, it's as good as that son does not have a father. So I'm not going to burden you and put unnecessary pressure on you and ask you to play a role that you were never wired by God to play. You were never designed by God to give to your son wisdom that only can emanate from a father. That's not your role. The day that you succeed in doing so, you have lost your identity. We have to mourn over you. You're dead. You're buried. You have lost your place. You can't play that role. So before you divorced, your husband actually separated himself from his own son. He distanced himself from his own son. And why is that your fault? You keep insulting him, you keep beating him up, you start thinking that probably my father was right after all. It will be difficult for him to believe that it was him actually abusing you. Because what he thinks he's experiencing under your care currently is abuse. The abuse that you have experienced yourself, to him is just a story. Probably he has seen it here and there, but he has experienced more of that. You might have actually beaten him up more times than you were beaten up by your own husband. So I'm saying you don't want a situation where he starts thinking that probably his father wanted to set himself free from this kind of abuse. Now he's going through all this abuse because he chose to stay behind. So he's thinking, probably my father went on to search for peace elsewhere. He walked away because he's trying to walk away from this abuse, from these kinds of insults. I want you to understand, as a parent, things can get to a place where you must simply admit that you have played your role, you have played your part, and there is nothing more you can do. That's just life. The sooner you accept it, the better for you. 9 months he was in your womb, and when pain came and you delivered, and they said, congratulations, you now have a baby boy. The celebration was that now your son has been detached from you. You are no longer him, he's no longer you anymore. You've created a life which is independent. And you were given time by God to raise him up to a certain stature. Now you have to learn to let go. There are things about this life that you will never teach your son. There are teachers that God has lined up for your children. They are teachers. They are not. Because currently you're not the one teaching him Shona. You're not the one teaching him mathematics. You're not the one teaching him physics. You're not the one. So even this beating that you are giving, it's not enough to change him. There will always be somebody who will give him a sufficient one. There is nothing you can do. The wisdom that you may be asking for is how to survive that. Not just to help your son. How do I survive looking at my son as he walks away. He comes to you, my Father, give me that which falleth unto me. And then he went to a far country. As much as that man was so rich, he had no sufficient wisdom to stop his son from walking away from him. All he could do is to sign the check. That thing probably happened over a long period of time. The father was very much aware that my son doesn't have what it takes to survive out there. And yet still he signed a check. He said, go. There is always that moment where you just have to watch as your son walks away. So when you ask for wisdom now, it's not wisdom so that you know how to stop him from walking away. It's wisdom on how to survive in the absence of a son that you cherish, that you love so much. How do I survive now that he is gone? That's the wisdom that you want. How do I live without? Now you see, you know, when he was coming back, this prodigal son, it was the father who first saw him. This tells you that actually his routine changed. Instead of going to the field every morning, he would get out of the house. He would go right to the edge of the property and try to look beyond and see.
Verse 20.
He was expecting. What made him to expect the return of this? He knew he had no capacity. This my son, I can give him any amount of money, but my son, I did not raise him enough to survive what happens out there. He will still find other teachers that will bring him back home. He will be taught. He has gone to a college, and after graduation they will return him back. Life will return him back. He will come back looking for a father. Life. But when a son is determined to go, when the bags are packed and the destination is confirmed, you can't stop him. He's going.
And the younger of them said to his father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the young son gathered all to his things all together and took his journey into a far country.
How many days?
Not many days after.
Not many days after. Not many days. From the day he got his portion, he started counting down. Not many days after. The God that you're serving, my sister, is currently in that same state. The God that gives all of us wisdom, he is having that same problem. I don't know how that God is going to pray to who for wisdom. For wisdom. God has rebellious sons. He has lost a son, a beloved son. Lucifer was so dear, the light bearer. He was given this responsibility over, he was given power over darkness. When we see light, we know he's around. And then he decided to carry the light and he walked away, leaving the rest of God's creation in darkness. The light bearer, the torch bearer, walked away from God. Until now, we haven't heard of any restoration so far. He hasn't gone back. Lucifer. God lost a son. You are crying over that same matter today. That's why he specializes in making sure that he divides families. That's what he did himself, Lucifer. What did God not do for Lucifer that made him to walk away? Nothing. Why is God not in that kind of pain that you're experiencing? Always feeling like I didn't do enough. God is not feeling like that. Of all the angels that you can study, of all the seraphims and the cherubs that you can study in the Word of God, only Lucifer was given a portion. Land, the garden, with fiery stones. It was that one that God paid for his work that rebelled. The rest are still there. They are not on any allowance. They are not getting any financial benefits. Lucifer got it. A portion that belonged to him was given, and not many days he walked away. So God is scratching his head. So had I not given him anything, why is it that the one that I actually blessed the most is the one who chose to walk away? So now you're questioning, did I not do enough? Probably you did enough, even more than enough. What can you do? Your son, you are not the only. Another point that I have to actually have you understand is that you are not the only voice in the life of your children. You are not the only voice. Even if you are in Adam, you must understand there is another voice in the garden which is not yours. Whilst your wife is away, she's listening to another voice. There is always another voice. You are not the only voice around. There is always another voice. Your son has a team of dedicated friends that are always checking up on him. They demonstrate concern and love more than you, more than mothers, more than what you have done. There is always, that's why when you pray for your children, before they depart, you always, without even laying your hands on them, always pray that wherever they go, may they not be another superior voice. That point, your son is going through a phase that if I were you, because as parents, we must all go through that phase. That phase is not necessarily meant for you. It's his phase that then affects your phase. He's about to find himself. It's a dark moment. You must seek to understand what is happening to your son currently. 26. Even the hormones are raging. He doesn't even know what to do. He has lost, even if he wasn't taking any drugs, what is happening in his body currently, he needs God's help. For him, what you need to seek now to do is to understand a phase. You have never been a boy before. You have been 26, yes, but never as a boy. So you don't even understand exactly what is happening in his head. He's trying to reconfigure him. He's trying to find himself. Where do I belong in this community? Who am I? And in that dark moment, even God himself, why go for 400 years without introducing the New Testament? Why create a phase in between? What is all this confusion about? When phases are changing, when seasons are changing, it's a very rough moment. You can have your child, today is so excited, tomorrow very quiet. Children can do that. You can have a daughter who is always talking, always excited, and she gets into a certain, and sometimes you are worried, my daughter talks a lot. Do you think she's ever going to be quiet? Wait for a season. Another season is coming. And it comes like a wave and you're wondering, what has happened to my daughter? You start wondering. It's her phase, not yours. But her phase will affect yours. Is she going through abuse? Quiet. Quiet like, are you okay? Yes, Mom, I'm okay. Are you okay? I'm okay. It's a phase. So don't lose yourself in the moment that your son is trying to find himself.